Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you are doing good. So today we'll try to understand what is difference between async and after business rule. Okay. So this is quite important topic in the service now. So we should be very clear about the difference between async and after business rule. So like in real time scenario, where should we use async business rule and where is the best to use after business rule? And along with this, I'm going to explain you what is synchronized and asynchronized. Okay, so let's get started. So first, I just want to give you brief about what all topics I'm going to cover in this video. So first, I'm going to let you know what is difference between after and async business rule. That is quite obvious. And second, I'm going to provide you some real-time scenario of after business rule and async business rule. So you will be very clear where you have to use async business rule and after business rule in real time. Okay. So guys, let's try to understand what is difference between after business rule and async business rule. So the first thing we have to understand when async business rule and after business rule will get executed. So we know that like when business rule will run. So whenever any record gets inserted, updated, queried or deleted from the database, at that point of time, business rule runs. So now point is when after an async business rule run. So whenever data gets saved into database, at that point, async and after business rule run. So simply you can say that whenever database operation happen, after the database operation, after an async business rule will get executed. Okay. And now we'll try to understand what is the difference between after and async business rule. Okay. So after business rule execute synchronously. So what is this synchronously and what is this asynchronous? So synchronous means it will wait for the result. Once the result is ready and get displayed, then it will provide control to user. Then user would be able to do anything until it result is ready. User has to wait. Okay, user can't do anything. But in async business rule, what happens? User will get control immediately. Okay, it will not hold the user like even result is not ready and it is not being displayed, but it will not hold the user. Okay, user will get control immediately. And what will happen in asynchronous, system will create a background script and it will schedule it. Okay, so as per system scheduler it will be running in the background. Okay, and user will get control immediately. It will not hold the user. Whenever result is ready it will get displayed or it will return the result. User doesn't have to wait for the result. So it will help in system performance as well. So whenever you can use asynchronous business rule, whenever you don't need result immediately, you can use async business rule over after business rule. And second point is after business rule is to update information on related object that is needed to be displayed immediately, such as glide or record queries. So whenever we have to update any of record on related list, we need to use after business rule because we have to see the result immediate. And a sync business rule is used to update the information on related objects that do not need to be displayed immediately, such as calculating matrix and SL, etc. So you can use a sync business rule where you don't need result to be displayed immediate. Okay, such as example I have already mentioned, calculating SLA. So SLA has to be calculated, so it can take some time that is not going to impact. So in those places you can use a sync business rule where you don't need result immediate. Okay, so in after business rule you can use current and previous objects, but you cannot use previous object in async business rule. And current object cannot be referenced on delete. Okay, because we don't have access to the previous version of a record because it is running in the background. We don't know like which line of code is being executed. So we don't have access to the previous version of the record. That's why we cannot use these methods also, like changes to changes form. These methods cannot be used in asynchronous business rule. Okay. In after business rule, system can wait and process the request and generate the result right away, and users should be able to see the data right away. Okay, action must be performed immediate. And in async business rule, we create, I mean, system creates a schedule and run the job in the background. So it doesn't require to that action to be performed immediate. And here's some example I have added, like updating the assignment group or sort description. We need it immediate, right? So for that, we have to use after business rule. And in async business rule, whenever you have to create event and through that event you have to send the notification, you can use async business rule. And we use async business rule in REST API call to other application when we create and update the incident in other system. And for calculating the SLN metric, I have already told you. So in this kind of scenario, you can use, these two business rule. So I think you might have clear about it, like where you have to use after business rule and where you have to use async business rule. So let's try to implement some of the use case in, our personal instance, and try to understand it in more, quite clear way. So first we are going to write after business rule where we are going to create an incident task from the incident. Okay. So let's navigate to business rule form where you can create new business rule. Create incident task. And here table you have to select to incident table. Okay. So now we have to select when to run. So we are going to run it after. Okay. And whenever insert operation happens. So whenever any record will be inserted, we have to run it after record insertion. Okay. So let's go and write our code here. Okay. Okay. So first, let's go to incident table. Okay. And we'll try to see the incident task table from the incident. So here, whenever any incident is getting inserted into this table, what we have to do is we have to insert a incident task as well. Okay. So let's click on new and we'll get this table. Okay. So first we have to insert, one incident task into, I mean, incident task table, and we have to map this incident task for the, respective incident. So we have to add, this incident task as a child for that incident, right? So let's try to do it. So first we are going to glide incident task table. Okay. And here what we have to do is we have to use the method called initialize. Okay. So here I am using the initialize method. And after that, what I can do, I can start setting the value which I want. So here, let me open one incident record as well. So what I have to do is I have to set the value into the incident record, into the field, and I have to do the field mapping. So I want to map this field from this incident. Okay. So configuration item, I want to map the same like whatever I'm selecting here. Okay. Same should go here, and assignment group assigned to an sort description. Same should come here. Okay. You can map the different value also as per your requirement, but here what I'm going to do is I am mapping the same value. Whatever I'm selecting here, it should go and map to incident task as well. So let's try taking values. So I need First, I need to map the priority and state. So you don't have to do much. What you have to do is you have to copy the backend value of the field. So in this table, we have to map, right, incident and task table. That's why I'm using this here dot chair object, and here I'm going to use current because we are writing this business rule on current table, so I can use that. Okay, so whatever is the like priority of the incident table, it has to map the same to the incident task table as well. So this is how you can do the mapping. And let's map the state, current dot state here dot. We have to map the assignment group, assigned to, and sort description. Okay, assignment underscore group equals to current dot. I'm going to use get display name as this assignment group is a reference field, right? So better to use get display value assignment group, and here we have to set the value of assigned to. Okay, same way we are setting the value for assigned to, because assigned to is also a reference field. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add, you know, this incident backend value of this incident. Here I have to do the mapping, so I have to add parent, this parent incident into here. This is the reference field, so I'm going to take this idea of this current incident and I'm going to add it here. So this will be tagged as a child, or maybe as a this task as a related list for this incident. Okay, so let's copy the backend value of this incident. Gr.incident equals to current dot society. Okay, so it will take society of the current incident. And now what we have to do is we have to insert this record, right? And we are done with our coding. Save it. Okay, so now let's go and create new incident and check like whatever we have written in the code, it is working fine or not. If there is any issue, we'll try to resolve it. Okay, we'll try to fix it. So let's take a sting after VR. Okay, now I'm going to submit it. Okay, so let's open it and check whether everything has been worked fine or not. So yes, our task has been created and tagged to this incident how we had expected, but here sort description and assignment group have not been populated. Okay, so assignment group sort description we have not populated actually. So let's add to set the value for sort description. Okay, so we have added the sort description, and assignment group is fine. So let's do it display value and see whether it's working or not. Okay, let's create an incident and check once again. Okay, so short description has been populated, but assignment group is not being populating. So do one thing. Let's try some other option here. Dot sys reference field, sometimes gives a hard time. Um, yeah, so we have to try so many options and so many different ways. Sometimes it's worked fine, sometimes it didn't. So let me try once again. Okay, so now it has been populated. So guys, yeah, you have to try some different ways. Yeah. So now what we need to do is we need to perform our second use case scenario where we have to add users into a selected group. So we'll write a async business rule where like whatever group and user we selected, it should be add that user into the group. So business rule maintain item. So guys, here I have created this service catalog for demo purpose. Here I have added two fields. Let me show you that. So here, whatever assignment group we are selecting here and whatever user we are selecting here, these users would get added into this assignment group. So for that, what we are going to do is we are going to write a business rule, async business rule. So let's write it. So I'm going to provide name as add users into group. Okay. And table we have to select our ATM requested item because we are using catalog item. So let's select requested item table here. Click advanced and here we have to select async business rule. Okay. So for this kind of scenario, we can use async business rule because like once you have selected this, once you have created this request, maybe in 1 or 2 seconds or maybe in 10 to 15 seconds or hardly it will take 1 minute to add that user into a group. Okay. So let's write our code here. So like for adding any user into a group, we have to glide user group member table, right? So let me show you that table. This user. So this is the table where user and group mapping gets stored. So what we are going to do is we are going to glide this table. Okay. So we have glided this table. Now what we have to do is we have to initialize it. Okay. So for that we have to use this object dot initialize method. So here we are initializing and we start mapping the value. Okay. So we have to insert a record in this table. So once you insert a group and user mapping into this table, automatically that user will be added to group. So let's take backend value of this to field. So user and I think this will be group. Let's cross check once. Okay. So now what we are going to do is we are using this object and we are going to set the value of user and group, right? Sorry, current was right. And we have to see whatever we are selecting here in this both of the variables, it has to be set here, right? So for that, for accessing any field value from the catalog item, we need to use variables, right? Then we can pass the variables. So we need to copy the backend value of this variable. Okay, and this is a reference field, so I am going to add this ID as well. And same thing we have to, sorry, we need to copy the object, and same way we need to add the group field as well. Okay, so this is the field from the user group member table, and here we are adding field from the catalog item which we are going into our ATM. So same way we have to take current dot variables dot, we need to pass backend value of this user field, so that is simply user. So that's all. Now by using this method we need to insert this value into that table. Okay, so we are done with our script. Save it and let's try doing it. So I want to add ITL. So I want to add ServiceNow ITL group, this user into ServiceNow ITL group. I'm going to select Andrew Och, and I'm going to add that user into ServiceNow group, ITL group. So let's search for ITL group here. Let's see how many users are added into this group. So okay, no members are added into this group. So let's add this user in here. So for that you have to order now. Once you click on it, after some time you can refresh the group and you can check whether this user has been added into ITL group or not. So let's refresh it and check. Okay, not added. So maybe we have done something wrong. Let's check for that. Insert, fine. Let's refresh once again and check. So not added. So let's go to this member table and let's check for RATM. Okay. Okay. So let's check for this user whether any record has been created here or not for this user. So changing the order and trying once again because I don't see any error. It should be working fine. Let me add here item is this one, like whatever we are using. So in condition, let me add that. Okay, shit, man. So you could see here I have added this assignment group name into the user one, and I have done the blunder here. Okay, so that's the reason it was not working. So in user field we have added user now, and now group we have added we have done the group mapping now. Okay, fine. So now it should be working fine. Let's try to check once again. Okay, let's select ITIL group itself because we have opened that group already. And what user? Okay, let's select this Milestone user itself. Let's refresh this group and see. So you can see this miles station has been added now. And if you go here and check for this group, ITIL group, you could see this miles has been added into this group. So this record has been inserted into service group service sorry user group member table. You could see it has been created just now. So this is how you can insert, any if you want to add any group into a particular assignment group, you can provide this id of that group where you can add it. And if you want to add like whatever you are selecting in group and user you want to, add that user into that group, you can do it in this way. And you can make use of this async business rule because it doesn't affect the performance. And it is like whenever it is possible to use async business rule over after business rule, you should always try to use async business rule. And I hope this video is helpful and you are able to understand the difference between um, after business rule and async business rule. If you like my videos, please do not forget to subscribe my channel. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.